Good morning, welcome to Vulcan's Frontier, exploring new frontiers of inspiration. We're here with Jared Newton as we emerge, our eyes cast across this vast metropolis of skyscrapers heading up into the atmosphere, pointing to a polluted sky. A planet ravaged by pollution, here at the center of logistics and industry, here at Lorville. The polluted planet in Hurston, somewhere orbiting Stanton. In this session, we're going to take the Aurora, have moments of reflection and solitude.
Thought he was gonna cry.
As we have some
Hilarious.
people talking behind us. Much apologies, but our intentions are to take the Aurora and touch down on one of these many buildings. They are landable, and have a look at Lorville from an alternative perspective. In the previous session, we had a wander stroll across the surface of Microtech as we watched the light recede behind the horizon. But due to an update, we decided to relocate to Lorville. So as we absorb the enigmatic soundscapes, lightscapes, and journeys, Vulcan's Frontier is immensely humbled to have you aboard. Without any further delay, let's commence. We have a few buildings to land on and choose, so we will make a choice as to which building we'll land on. But let us now continue the journey. Obviously, our intentions are to absorb the essence of the detail, beautify our depth with this hyper world, crucible of our imagination. We are encountering a few of these individuals, conversations, discussing various details of their existence, facts, but our intentions are to head to the spaceport. Need indeed of a maintenance cleanup, lots of industrial waste. Another spectacular sight as we come across the opening scene of Lorville's Skyline, as we the cityscape as we head down. Exceptional detail that is presented before us. We'll make sure we walk slowly. It always strikes one to be captivated by the incredible level of depth, detail that is presented, especially seeing these large industrial ventilation systems, the rivets and the screws, paint being chipped off, and indeed the overuse of the spectacle of Lorville here. It's a truly spectacular scene. Spectacular moment as we absorb the ambience and the sounds of this metropolis, industry, and indeed administration. As we gather some of the source building names in the distance, from 12-hour investments to various other design companies, obviously not forgetting Origin. Reminiscent, perhaps, opening scenes of the original Blade Runner. Again, thrust into a wondrous sense of awe as we appreciate the capabilities of our capacity to create. Such a spectacular, and you also have the opportunity to zoom in as well from the huge latticework of logistics below, which is truly impressive, to the myriad spectrum, crane networks, cargo hauling, cargo transfer, logistics, to the buildings in the distance. And this quite spectacular scene of refuse of some kind being dropped down into the infinite array of this work below. You just feel the temperate, slightly impure air as we watch a new day emerge. Completed cycle of the planet. Such as the impressive degree of detail and the light diffusion on the lamp at the top here, all the way to the gradients, hues of yellow that emanate from the distant skyscrapers. It's certainly an impressive sight. And our hope is that we can create a visceral connection, transporting one and creating a conduit, suspending one reality in order to nestle ourselves in spectacular realities that are born from our ability to create. One mustn't get too distracted though. Our objective is to acquire the aurora. It was a Blade Runner moment. You see the cityscapes, especially Arcor, and especially the lights, scapes and soundscapes of some of the impressive scenes when you leave your habitation zone and you emerge, whether it be the floating platforms of Hurston, or indeed some of the other spectacular scenes that are part of this hyper reality. Explore new worlds. And also we do have this rather unhealthy deposit of particulates of some kind floating around. We do have our helmet. Oh, we don't have a helmet equipped. So equip our helmet. Make sure our lungs are protected from this rather unhealthy concoction of deposits, particulates. You can see is suspended somewhat as the light is diffused. The background pollution in and around this space. So much to see, so much to capture. So many spectacles to absorb. So we'll head to the spaceport line. We also have the perimeter line, which is very impressive. The opportunity to wander beyond the gates
Heading to the next sector.
of the of Lorville. Impressive Maria Pure of Heart Hospital.
Sector clear.
It's another spectacular sight. Perhaps I'll have a look. A quick look at the medical center, such as the juxtaposition of the rather industrious, very unhealthy and polluted world of industrial, functioning part
Welcome to Metro Center.
of
Transfers
Lorville,
to the perimeter, spaceport, and industry
to the
lines.
clean, crisp clinical lines that define the Maria Purified Hospital. It's quite a deep, impressive view, and that we already get the sense, the polished anti-slip floors, it's a very impressive sight. It's all quite impressive. We have a congregation of various members of the verse having a discussion as we look upon the chipped concrete walls, perhaps representing human physiology, both strength and fragility.
Good day.
There's a very impressive sight as we go to the main lobby of Maria Purified Hospital. It's certainly impressive. And we have these
Feeling ready to get back to work? Ask your doctor or pharmacist how to taper your medication dosage to help you return to the job in record time.
and productivity, the name of the game here on Lorville. And mostly various bases in and around Hurston. Other impressive side of the
Sure, we all want to be able to work longer hours, but overdosing on stimulants is not the answer. From a higher chance of accidents and mistakes to a decrease in performance and quality of work, Hurston Dynamics reminds employees that too many stims slows you down.
There we have these pillars, this rather strong obsidian-like marble, presenting
A visionary in her generosity and a philanthropic inspiration to the millions of lives she's touched. This hospital is proud to be named after the unparalleled Maria Hurston. To honor her work and her memory, we will be sharing select excerpts from her seminal work, Dynamics of a Mindful Life, throughout the day. We encourage you to listen with an open mind and a pure heart.
there we can see individual members, doctors, surgeons, going to and fro, completing their duties.
Hurston Dynamics encourages all employees to update their imprint regularly. It is not only a great way to prevent work interruptions, but it is considerate to your coworkers and can help minimize the side effects from regeneration. Together, we can make sure that you leave a lasting imprint here at Hurston.
There's the Premier Access, the VIP, or executive suites for the more discerning
Welcome
and
to
elite
Maria
member
Purified Hospital,
of the verse.
a non-profit medical facility dedicated to improving the health of all members of the extended Hurston Dynamic family of employees and the community of Lorville since 2889.
Such is the clinical reality. We'll have an exploration of the Maria Purified Hospital
How are you?
as we progress. We'll go to the wards as well.
In her book, Dynamics of a Mindful Life, Maria Hurston reminded us that good health is the foundation upon which all successful endeavors are built.
And I do hope
That's
there
why
is
it is so important to start each day with a healthy breakfast to give all your endeavors a nutritionally balanced foundation.
indeed a forefront of medical research, perhaps a cure for the rather horrific effects of cancer,
In her book, Dynamics of a Mindful Life,
which is
Maria Hurston recognized
something that is
is one
so profound, but it's certainly at a to watch the degrees to which someone is treated, from radiotherapy to chemotherapy, the ability to target individual cancer cells through targeted radiotherapy treatment. It's certainly impressive, but
Heading to the next sector.
our journey of the Mira Purified Hospital,
Moving on to the next area.
we could really can
Heading
appreciate
to the
the
next sector.
impressive environment. We interrupted somewhat by obviously individuals that want to move us along. But we have the decon chamber as well. So it's another impressive display of the clean lines and clinical approach here. Excellent Maria Purified Hospital. Have a look at the wards later, but our intentions now are to head towards, almost perhaps tempted to head towards the perimeter line and have a wander.
Welcome to Metro Center.
Beyond the
Transfers
gates.
To the perimeter, spaceport, and industry lines.
Actually, what we might do is have a journey on the perimeter line, and you can actually see, get a feel for the depth and breadth of Lorville, as the perimeter line service does go through quite a lot of the city, so we could be captivated in the light of day and watch as the tram traverses through some of the skyscrapers and impressive cityscapes on the way to the perimeter line.
Nothing new to report.
But then obviously we'll have a go, time permitting, and land on some of the buildings.
Trespassing or attempting to trespass on train tracks is a
Just feel with each
serious and
update,
dangerous offense.
the layers of depth, breadth, and detail, and really provide such a degree of immersiveness. Transport one
Be considerate to your fellow travelers.
To-
Do not lock doors.
the wonders. See if we can catch this tram here. Wonders. Lorville. And the verse. See if we can get a good view of the passing city here.
Lorville City Gates.
And there we have the Hurston Dynamics building. Central Business District. One wonders indeed what goes on behind the many windows, many lights, the floors, what activities happen behind all these buildings. Yet more construction happening, as we can see. The buildings, the projected holographic projection of the intended direction and height of the building itself.
Now arriving. Lorville City Gates. Please watch your step when disembarking the train. Hurston Security reserves the right to search travelers.
Truly impressive. That's a a spectacular view of the entirety of majority here as we traverse through the city, Lorville, the metropolis of Lorville.
Do not lock doors.
It's such a spectacular. So I think perhaps we'll go to the perimeter line and have a wander. Really get a sense of the impressive degrees of scale. We're certainly
Step away from the platform edge when train is
treated to the level of scale as we witness the tram, the towering buildings in and around our journey to the perimeter line. It strikes one as impressive to zoom in to the individual serial numbers, individual markings, the various panels, the various systems, even the chipped, worn paint of the panels. And from these serial numbers, individual markings, all the way to entire cities, planets, whether it be the icy plains of Microtech or the dusty, polluted plains here on Hurston. And indeed, we have Pyro to explore as well. So that's another entire world to explore. But mustn't forget the excellence of some of these spaces as we continue the journey. There before us, transition from this organized industrial space to the reality. We should get a very good view of the scale here at Lorville. Just incredible levels of detail, especially in the reflections of light on the actual sign there, showing some of the blemishes of this perimeter gate sign here. Truly impressive. We're in the light of day as well, so we'll be able to capture some of these mega structures and transport ourselves to a state of awe as we emerge now from the perimeter gate. Certainly spectacular, an entire structure before us, and when we get further away we'll be able to see Lorville, but that's for scale. Let's pan slowly and absorb this. Certainly for scale, we have the perimeter gate there. We move away further, be able to appreciate the depth and detail, kind of scales here, and journeys. As we make contact with Hurston itself, there we transition now onto this rather oxidized, sandy world. truly exceptional. Distance, we have some unusual plants, succulent plants perhaps, trying their best to sustain themselves in the arid, unforgiving, polluted world, which we're having a stroll through. And, light trying to get through to illuminate. It's a spectacular sight of fusion between industry, technology, and the light of the sun. Light rays of Stanton trying to come through and illuminate. It's a polluted world. Try not to pan so much so we can gain, try and capture try in some way to feel the scale, depth against this huge industrious network. As we gain further distance away from the perimeter gate, a true demonstration scale here. The gate, the buildings behind the gate. Let's more so focus here with Focus Frontier. There's many activities that are possible. One can just simply take a moment to absorb the ambience, the essence, and the solitude of these spectacular environments. Into reality. Well, we'll continue on and see what we can see. We're coming up to a few rocks here. Even here, evidence of pollution. Certainly spectacular. Fusion of nature. These impressive man-made structures in the distance. What we'll do is we'll head over to the huge building over there and have a wander at all these various plants from various genuses of cactus to succulent plants. Again, impressive light. Coupled with this wondrous fusion of diffused light coming down, polluted clouds, and various huge megastructure installations. Well, what we'll do is we'll head on over to the huge megastructure in the distance. Stand very close to it so you can appreciate its scale, and then perhaps we'll head back to the perimeter line, to the spaceport, and get an altogether different view of Hurston with our Aurora. As we touch down on some of the skyscrapers, platforms, precursor before our journey to Pyro. These do look like the early trees, early species of trees that are actually featured if you happen to have the excellent book written by Richard Dawkins, The Ancestor's Tale. The illustration in front of that book shows these unusual trees that early evolution of both plant life and flora and fauna. It's an exceptional book, and obviously demonstrates so well here that we're standing in this particular spot. And we have the entire verse to explore. Was an excellent sense of scale to stand next to some of these superstructures. But a real appreciation of their scale, especially leaving the perimeter gate as well. Have a moment and stand next to this loading area, hyperstructure. And there's a real true sense of scale as we move away from the perimeter gate. You get a real preview of some of the buildings. It's certainly spectacular. One can only guess the activities that are happening behind these walls here. I was trying to capture the sound of ship passing at speed overhead. It's the soundscapes as well, which really add to the impressive visual splendor, would really add to the scale of what we're experiencing. We'll try to go right up to the building itself as we walk and continue the journey up. To the building here. That's the wondrous thing. By appreciating both the scale of these environments, one can viscerally connect to them and suspend their current world through conduit to transport oneself into these worlds born from the crucible of our imagination. The impressive sound as well of the footprints distorting the sound, moving the sand. Certainly impressive. So let us now have a pan round as we look up and appreciate the true scale of our presence here. Journeys of both inspiration and wonder. We're here on a continuing journey to be inspired. The journey in through as we absorb grand expanse of these virtual dimensions born from the crucible of our imagination. We're able to appreciate them and absorb every morsel, detail, every instance as you try to connect to these worlds on multiple levels, visually, audibly, and interact in multiple dimensions. Our interactions with this world. Try to capture tactile interaction, or perhaps olfactory interaction. Indeed, all present here. It's a spectacular example of creativity. We try to get a moment of scale, I think. Another perspective. This rather huge megastructure, this perhaps loading dock of some kind. Well, what we'll do is we'll head on over back to the perimeter gate. So far away from the perimeter gate now, we can make out the origin building and the buildings that are near the Habitation area. And the utility area that we visited. But our main aim, obviously, is to head to the spaceport, take the Aurora, have a go at landing on some of these buildings. The spectacular side of the future construction projects happening in Lorville, the light projections of this rather futuristic, more industrial architecture, functional architecture, rather than the sleek, hyperworld, hyper-cooled and hyper-tech environment of New Babbage. But indeed, the compacted worlds of Area 18, certainly so many viewpoints to consider, to absorb and to take in. Certainly not including all the open spaces that are available to wander through. Wilkes Frontier did do a presentations walking through lush tundras and woodland greens of some of the plains on Microtech. But again, we'll revisit those and try to increase the resolution and fidelity as we delve deeper into absorbing the ambience of these spectacular places. It's about the missions too as well, so we'll be doing delivery missions, mostly to aid in the peaceful journey of wonder, hauling, as well as salvage. Indeed, mining as well. Mining is a spectacular endeavor as a move. It certainly focuses on solitude and silence and peaceful essence of the journey. Even to the point of the ground, sound emanating from different surface types. As we walk onto this very polished, almost look like metal deposits, mineral deposits of some kind. High-grade, dense deposits with some external oxidizing occurring on the surface. The impressive sight of getting so up close to these structures. In the foreground, megastructures in the background. Well, our initial intentions were to take the aurora and touch down on some of the on the surfaces of the buildings, but I think we maybe pushed for time on the journey, so we'll reconvene in another session. Definitely take the aurora and have a look at Lorville from some of the spectacular perspectives. And then a precursor, obviously head to the pyro system and explore. This area has possibly been explored before, but our intentions are to ensure that we capture the essence, forgetting these spectacular viewpoints, these places of intrigue where our imagination can fill in the details as to what occurs behind the very windows and offices in these huge structures. There we have perimeter gate. So what we'll do in this session is we'll conclude the session by heading to the perimeter gate. Well, this is quite intriguing as well. So many intriguing spaces. One has to be careful not to get too distracted. So rather impressive loading cranes and spaces for ships to dock. And these rather early genuses of flora here. They've adapted so well to the rather dusty conditions here, desert-like conditions on the surface of Hurston. So we could see the perimeter gate now, and in the distance it really does impart that wondrous sense of scale as well. Just leaving the perimeter gate, seeing the huge megastructure, to now appreciating this megastructure here. Who would have thought, from playing the original Wing Commander series all the way, actually walking on physicalized planets, these impressive structures, we owe it to a hopeful, positive, and functional use of technology, so we can craft our digital dreams through science, art, code, and imagination. As always, Falcon's Frontier is immensely humbled to have you aboard on this little excursion here at the perimeter gate. We do have, and hopefully we'll acquire the land-based anti-gravity skimmer vehicle. Will allow us to traverse greater distances. But our main focus is the Mercury Star Runner. On the list of vehicles, ships to acquire to help us explore the verse in safety and comfort. We'll do a silent pan round, just absorbing the environment in silence as we stand atop this rock here. It was important to have a moment of reflective silence as opposed to the relentless pursuit of trying to attain and aspire. Here, we just capture silence and wonder coupled with our inspirations in the verse. Another spectacular sight here. You can see the light, ray of light reflect here off the panel, which is just catching the light of Stanton's light there. Such an angle. Such is the incredible level of detail as we capture and ride that wave of wondrous inspiration. Well, what we'll do is, as soon as we get back to the perimeter gate, we'll conclude the session. Resume in the next one. There will, in that session, head with the Aurora and touch down on some of the buildings. Want to be conscious of the time, not too far over time, just enough to get a sense of inspiration. Then to the pyro system. Okay, it's always a wondrous thing to see the multi-layers of detail, of incredible depth. From traversing the Earth in a one-to-one replication, the simulation, to walking on other worlds. As always, Fox Frontier tends to increase fidelity and focus, and will ensure that we have a regular schedule to catch up with everything that is happening in this world. At least we can suspend a reality from the different reality in the real world. Appreciate a moment, a respite, minds to wonder in moments of awe and solitude and reflection. So you capture the light of inspiration. Guns blazing and credit making. Perhaps having a moment to wonder. Silence or reflection. Wondrous solitude. Certainly quite a journey over there, all the way over there, and we had a wonder, reflection, and we're capturing now that feeling, that wondrous, immersive state, solitude and excellence, as we walk within the wonderfully rendered, high-fidelity environment of the verse. Head on in now, and let's Sense once more of the scale as we walk through. The reflection, light reflection, impressive. All vastly impressive. Back to the industrial world here. As we re-enter the inner workings, the intricacy, and the depths of Lorville. And let's see if we can find a chair perfect to sit down. Have a rest. For a moment. You might hear some chit-chat from these individuals here. Seat is taken.
Okay.
We might overhear some talking, but we do have the opportunity to sit down and conclude the session. Well, we're in conclusion, had a comfortable journey, really captured the magic beyond the perimeter, and had an exploration of Hurston itself, looking and absorbing at these vast megastructures in and around the perimeter here at Lorville. Our intentions now are to conclude the session, return, hopefully manage to capture the magic in silence and wonder as we absorb the enigmatic spaces on the continuing journey to capture the sense of wonder, the detail, and indeed be inspired, especially journeying with our character, Jared Newton, on this vast and expansive wonder that is presented before us. In the next session, we'll take the Aurora and touch down on some of the platforms, but for now, and indeed until next time, this is Falcon's Frontier, wishing you a safe and inspirational journey onward. As always, hope you've enjoyed the journey. Until next time, goodbye for now.
Tell us funeral.
Anything up to you?
Decide if I want